Hello, beautiful. Today I want to add something to another video that I made concerning our dear relationship with our wonderful bodies. And I'm being a little sarcastic here because when you live with a chronic illness, but just in general, I guess for everybody, the relationship we have with our bodies, principally women, is not necessarily always a good one, right? So in the previous video, I was talking about that I had this amazing aha moment of realizing that I had been at war with my body my entire life, just telling it was wrong, that I shouldn't have that body, that it was constantly causing me pain, that I wished it were different, and all this good, yummy conversation that is so positive and enriching. I was thinking, wow, imagine if that was the language I used to speak to a child. Would I be giving the best odds to that child to actually do the things I expect of it, or just to show up in life as the best they can be? And of course the answer is no, and it's something that I'm still working on. If you're interested to hear a little bit more about it, go to the other video about our relationship with our bodies. So as a follow-up of this reflection that I had, is seeing that the relationship we have with our bodies is the most intimate relationship we have in the world, right? The discussion is constant. It's a back and forth. It's like ping, 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 talk, response. And if your most intimate relationship in the world is one of constant criticism, disappointment, putting down, how can we show up in the world and act differently? Once we understand that the relationship, the conversation we have with our body is like the building block of conversation. It's where we learn, right? It's like our basic first interaction. The way we converse with our body is where we learn how to be with the world. And it's where we learn how to be towards ourselves in the world in matters other than how we relate to our body. And what I mean by that is, like, if you are constantly critical about your body, our appearance, the way it functions, the pain, the betrayal, and all that, then it's so easy to understand that we're going to talk to ourselves the same way when we think of how we do in business, how we are failing at doing everything we wish to do, how we don't do enough in a day, how we're just not enough in everything that we do. How would you expect it to be any different towards yourself than the first part of you that you have, which is how you speak to your own body? It's like, it's this whole, right? You can't just separate the pieces. The way you talk to your body and treat your body, and the criticism, is how you're going to show up for yourself in other aspects of your life. You've heard the saying, right? The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. Well, how about the way we relate to our body is the way we relate to the world? How about the way we show up for our body is the way we show up in the world? And the relationship I have with my body informs every other aspect of how I deal with myself. How we treat ourselves often is way harsher than how we treat other people. There is nobody in the world that I treat worse than I treat myself, honestly. Isn't that a sad statement? But I think it's true, and we've got to start being honest about this stuff. Here's another way to look at it. The language that I use in the conversations I have with myself about my body is the language and attitude I will bring to every other conversation I have in my head about other aspects of my life. The language we use when we talk to ourselves about our bodies is the same way we will talk to ourselves about everything else in our lives. So it's really important, again, just to develop that awareness, starting with the relationship we have with our bodies, mostly as people who have lived with a chronic illness for a long time or for your entire life, like me. For people who have had a life of struggle with their body, this is the place where we start. If we don't change the language of how we talk to our bodies, then we're not going to be able to change how we talk to ourselves about other things that we do in life. Start fixing how we speak to our body, then it's going to change how we show up in the world, and then our world is going to change along with us. So something to think about. I know that I am working right now, and I wanted to share this because it seems like such important bits of information or realization, right? It seems like, once I know this, it's like I'm going to hear myself, and I'm going to work on changing that basic, original, most elemental conversation I have with my body. And then naturally, I will watch the rest of the conversations I have in my head change as well towards something more positive. So I encourage you to do the same. That's it for today. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Bye. After you subscribe to this channel, come on over to Paquette.com and pick up your free copy of my manifesto for the chronically different. If you live with a chronic illness, you need to read this. That's also where you'll get more details about my upcoming book, A Splendid Mess. Yes, it's a memoir. Once you're there, remember that, like me, my website still needs work. So please be patient with both of us.